So, '09, when you leave Palantir and you're an advisor, are you married at that time or you're single?
No. I got married in 2016.
2016. Okay. So you're a rich young bachelor at this time. Is that fair to say?
That's fair to say.
Okay. So how did you protect yourself? Because
Well, actually, I made a pretty dumb mistake. If you read about it, I had a girlfriend who ended up suing me after I broke up with her and didn't marry her in 2012, 2013. So you're right. You got to protect yourself.
how do you do it though? Because
Well, I think looking back on it, I was working really, really hard, and I had been a very nice relationship that didn't work out, and then I had a kind of a rebound relationship with. I don't want to talk too much about this person in particular, but it was something where it was probably not someone I should have been dating, and I'd met in New York, and she was at Stanford. She was 21, I was 28, and it turns out you just gotta be really careful, like who you let into your life and how seriously you take relationships, because if you're not careful, then it can cause a lot of trouble, and that's a good lesson for me.
how'd you protect yourself?
I mean, I think how you protect yourself is you should listen more to your family. I think some of my family thought there were some issues with them, and I'm like, oh no, she's really pretty, and I'm busy, and who cares? And it's like, actually, it really matters to protect yourself and it's common sense who you let into your life. I was very lucky that by the time actually I'd broken up, it had been a couple of years by the time they tried to sue, I'd already had a new amazing girlfriend who was really wonderful, who ended up becoming my wife, and is someone that my family really admired her and her family and respected her a lot. And I think that's just really important to focus on getting a partner you really respect, who's the right match for you.
You guys got now 6 kids.
We have six beautiful young children. I'm a
you.
very lucky guy. Five little girls, which is all.
Yeah.
Cute.
Well, you got the money for it. It's going to be expensive.
They're amazing.
Well, you know why I asked that question? Because Trevor Bauer, I don't know if you follow baseball, he's a good friend. And he was playing baseball, and he was doing great things, Cy Young, all this stuff. And then a girl accuses him.
Just for the accusation, it can ruin your life.
He lost a few $100 million over it.
Probably cost me a little bit too for about a year. A lot of people didn't. I became controversial. It became harder for about a year. And obviously, I'm lucky. I was successful enough. I could bounce back and get through it. But it's totally unfair to a guy like that to have to deal with that. And this is, I think there was a period where you were basically guilty as soon as you were accused. I think a lot of people now have seen enough people where that's been happened unfairly that hopefully our culture is changing a little bit. But it's still very unfair how it handles these things.
How do you, when you're rich and single, identify if a girl is with you for you or is for you because of money? How do you do that?
I want to push back, by the way, on one thing. I think it's unfair how things work now. I think it was probably even more unfair how things worked in the 1930s, 40s, 50s, 60s. I think we have to acknowledge that, because I'm obviously I'm not a woke guy, but I think the world was at a place where a lot of men, it was a man's world, and a lot of men were really nasty, abused women, horrible things, and just got away with it. And I think that is wrong, right? So I think we have to realize, like, the pendulum was here, and now it's like swung too far the other way. But you know what? I'd rather face a little bit of a tough time as a rich guy than have all these women being abused. So it's still wrong. It should be in the middle. But I think it's actually it's good that we're actually protecting these people
now. This weekend, my wife and I were celebrating her birthday, so we go to Bal Harbour, and Bal Harbour, I couldn't walk anywhere without somebody saying hello to me who's Jewish. It's like filled with Jews everywhere in that area, and so we decide one night we're on Game of Thrones. Just to kind of tell you where we're at. We're at 2 episodes after the Red Wedding, or whatever they call it. That's kind of where we are, right?
Intense.
We haven't seen anything else.
Yeah.
And then my wife, she says, babe, thank God I'm a woman born today, because how different it was back in the days. So it was difficult, it was vicious, it was a whole different story.
It was a crazy world. Yeah. Can I tell you a funny story about that? So I mentioned Milton Friedman I used to hang out with. His colleague, who was older than him, was Dr. Breichman. He was 96 when I was at Stanford, and he had been a reporter in the White House in the late 1930s. So he was like a window for me into this completely different time, right? Because that's because he was
96, 20 years ago.
65 years ago from when I met him in the White House. And I thought the funniest, he's always stories. So he would in the FDR White House, it would be spring break, and they'd all go on the train, and it'd be journalists, it'd be senators from both parties, and it'd be the guys in the White House. And the first 2 stops of the train, all the girlfriends and escorts would get on, and they'd all go together. And these people would be attacking each other like crazy with the journalists for the business of government, but they'd both be with their girlfriends or everyone else getting in trouble, and never would say anything about that. Isn't that crazy? It was a totally different world.
It was a code.
It was a man's world. It was just a different world. And I'm not saying that's good. It's just fascinating how much the world has shifted. That you can never imagine that now.
Yeah. Do you believe it? I believe it. I believe that exactly. I mean,
Definitely.
You read about it, you see about it. It's a very different world. But going back to it, advice. Think about it. Guys asking. I read Steven Schwartzman's book, and he's talking about how what it takes. He says he was going through a divorce. He was worried about what to do. He had been married for 25 years.
Yeah.
He says, I get recommended to go see this one guy who's a very successful therapist, a marriage counselor. And I said, I have 4 concerns. How do I, at my age, get back into the dating world? Number 2, what happens with my kids? Number 3, what happens with my money? Number 4, what happens with my friends? Do they choose her or me? And the guy gave him very good advice.
That's tough.
He said, your kids are going to be okay. You're going to be fine. There's plenty of girls that are going to want to be with you. Number 3, do you have a prenup with your wife? He says, no. He says, you're going to lose some money. And then number 4, he says about friends, he says, you're going to lose half your friends because they're going to side with her. Wow. But I'm talking like for a guy like you who made money, is wealthy, is single, looking for a wife, how do you tell them apart?
You meet people through friends, you meet people through people you admire, and I think there's a lot of wonderful families and a lot of wonderful young women out there. And I think it's the most important to be with someone who you really respect and where you have a shared strong base of values. And my wife converted to Judaism, and we have just a really strong base of tradition in our family that we're building together, and we talk a lot about values and what we care about. And she's someone who, I think if you have a really great wife, she makes you want to be a better person to live up to her vision of things.
Good for you guys. Good for you. Respect. So going through somebody you know and trust that, again, going back to the same way you recruited people.
I mean, I got really lucky. I'm not sure I could find someone like my wife again. Sometimes you just gotta get lucky.
Are you going to hit double digits? That's the question. Are you guys going to reach double digits, or 6 is it?
I think 6 kids might be it, but we'll see. We'll see what we can do.
I was telling you about a guy I met yesterday who has 11 kids with his wife. He's 46, no twins, no adopting, all theirs, and they hit 11 kids. I think his name was Moshe, if I'm not mistaken.
It's an orthodox thing to do.
So when we set out to create a shoe that blends comfort, function, and luxury, we had the choice to make it fast. We had the choice to make it cheap. We chose neither. Instead, we chose Tuscany, Italy. We chose true Italian craftsmanship, each pair touched by 50 skilled hands. We chose patience, spending 2 years perfecting every detail, and we chose the finest quality at every step. Introducing the Future Looks Bright collection. Not rushed, not disposable, not ordinary. Rather, intentional, luxurious, timeless. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.